A message to Kareem Marcelle from Dane S.G Wilson, former PNM National Youth Officer. Call for urgent action within the PNM. A test of discipline and constitutional integrity. As a former PNM National Youth Officer male, and in light of the silence emanating from our party's leadership, I feel compelled to publicly address the recent unfortunate and discriminatory comments made by the current PNM National Youth Officer Kareem Marcelle, Member of Parliament for Laventille West. These public utterances have raised serious concern within the PNM institution, as they are inimical to our party's constitution and the values upon which the People's National Movement was founded. The People's National Movement has always prided itself on discipline, respect, and accountability within its ranks. When statements are made by party officials that appear inconsistent with these values, especially in a public setting, it is important that the party address them immediately, transparently, and responsibly. I therefore call on PNM members across Trinidad and Tobago to engage their constituency executives and request that they instruct their General Council representatives to formally request the convening of an urgent Special General Council meeting to address the recent comments made by PNM National Youth Officer and Member of Parliament for Laventille West Kareem Marcelle on a PNM platform in Laventille last week, which have been widely reported and publicly described both within and outside the PNM as discriminatory, raising serious concerns among members regarding their consistency with the standards and principles of the PNM Constitution. Article 2:10 of the PNM Constitution speaks to the elimination of discrimination in public life, and members have raised concern that the nature and tone of the comments are inconsistent with this fundamental objective of the party. As a PNM member, I have also personally experienced discrimination and hostility on social media from the children and spouses of UNC ministers as well as from UNC members and supporters and those of their coalition partners, including comments that I have perceived as discriminatory and racially charged. It is in that broader national context that issues of political language and conduct must be carefully considered by all political actors and actresses. While some may argue that Mr. Marcelle was merely expressing the views of constituents, it is important to draw a distinction between explaining sentiment and making statements in a public capacity. In this instance, the comments were received as a public statement, and that is where the concern arises. As PNM Youth Officer, Mr. Marcelle has a duty, when presented with sentiments from constituents, to educate and uphold the party's policy of non-discrimination. In this regard, concerns have been raised that he failed to fulfill the responsibilities for which he was elected as National Youth Officer. In addition, concerns have been expressed by members that the remarks as reported may be interpreted as suggesting future hostility toward political opponents when returned to government, raising further questions about consistency with the party's constitutional commitment to non-discrimination and fair political conduct in or out of government. 10 days have now passed since these comments were made, yet Mr. Marcelle has not publicly acknowledged the concerns raised by a wide cross-section of PNM members, including his own constituency, regarding their consistency with the principles and standards of the PNM Constitution. This is not without precedent. During the 2013 THA election period, involving comments made by then THA Assemblyman and PNM candidate Hilton Sandy, public concern was raised regarding remarks referencing a Calcutta ship. At the time, then PNM political leader Dr. Keith Rowley, in less than 24 hours, immediately publicly distanced the PNM from the comments, described them as inappropriate, and called for a public apology. The matter was subsequently addressed internally, with an apology issued consistent with the party's established practice of maintaining discipline and accountability among its representatives. This issue is bigger than any one individual. It goes to the heart of what the PNM stands for and how we wish to be perceived by the national community. Political differences must never be used to justify threats, victimization, or expressions of malice toward any citizen. Continued disrespect, disregard, and trampling of the PNM Constitution must stop. The PNM Constitution is our guide, and it must be upheld and respected by all members at all times. The General Council is the highest decision-making body of the party between conventions and is the appropriate forum for members to openly discuss this matter. At that meeting, representatives should consider a resolution calling for a public apology from Mr. Marcelle and a reaffirmation of the PNM's commitment to treating all Trinidad and Tobago citizens fairly and with respect regardless of political affiliation. Silence is not leadership.
Accountability is.
I encourage every right-thinking PNM member who believes in the founding principles of the People's National Movement to make their voice heard through the party's democratic structures. I'm just asking,